Okie dokie, here we have vintage and antique bone crochet hooks as well as an assortment of various haberdashery bits and bobs. Naturally, when you slaughter a cow for meat, you're inevitably left with inedible waste material in the form of bones. What do you do with these bones? Well, you boil them to strip them of oils and meats, you bleach them to whiten and sterilize, you put them on a lathe, you turn them, you engrave them, you polish them, and you're left with works of art that will last for centuries. Let's start with the knitting needles. Here they are. These aren't very ornate, but they are very fun. They're made of two segments, the actual needle, and then the separately turned and glued on knobs. You can still see the glue seeping through. Now these are made from a cow's shin or leg bones, but they are not composed of just one long bone. These are two shorter bones which have been spliced. Can you see those diagonal lines? That's where two bones have been connected to make one. You can see changes in texture and color. What you would do is wear down a bone into this, put them together, cement them with glue, and then you're left with one long bone. Isn't that absolutely lovely? Now, continuing with knitting, we have a nook. Half hook, half needle. Does it crochet? Does it sew? No, it knits. You attach yarn to the end, you do some witchcraft, and you end up with knitting. Isn't that fabulous? These were very intricate and detailed to make, as you can tell. Now here we have a Tunisian crochet hook. Failed attempt, as you saw. They tried to splice it to lengthen it, did not work out. It works as a great example though. Here we have a little lace bobbin winder. And then they have glass beads, often with motifs of serpents, to ward off evil spirits. I hope that's correct, otherwise I just sound a bit paranoid. I have a lovely little parasol needle holder. Isn't this gorgeous? It unscrews, and you can store hundreds of needles inside. We have a lovely pincushion, two separate flat pieces of bone sewn to some felt, and then massacred with pins. We have a little bone thimble. Isn't that lovely? One of the first additions to my thimble collection. Here we have 3 bone rings. Now you could use these, and often they include them in patterns for hot pot holders. Isn't that fun? You could also use them in lots of various laceworks and crochet, and just experiment, for funsies. Here we have a lovely combination of a hook. It's a steel crochet hook down here with a lovely bone handle. Look at that texture. Oh, it says something on here. No idea what it says, I don't have my glasses. I never knew it said something. And it's a size 5. Then we have some more ornately made crochet hooks. Just a lovely little decoration. These would be slightly more expensive than just the plain ones. If you're wondering if they actually work well as crochet hooks, they are absolutely sexy. Some of them are poorly made. These as an example. These have not been polished, as you can see. Very lovely shape though, but unpolished it drags your yarn and can damage it, so it's not the best. But absolutely lovely either way. They work well with cottons and with wools. Natural materials always work lovely with natural materials. Here is just an assortment of the basic ones. And all of them have different hook heads. They all are different thicknesses, different sizes. one benefit is they can kind of be custom to you. One loss is they can't be standardized. So a size 9 crochet hook to one person could be something to someone else. There's no way of making them perfect each time. But aren't they just lovely? Here we have a little engraving on one, size 9. Isn't that fun? And you can see the lovely colors and textures. The colors don't mean anything about age or how clean they are. It's just every animal, even person to person, bone colors are different. I was gifted this lovely little hook. I think it's kind of useless, but if women said little things are useless, most men in the world wouldn't have girlfriends. Moving on, we have some double-sided hooks. This is one way to utilize the bone as much as you can. Isn't that fun? I think this one is just lovely. You have a really meaty hook on this side, then just a lovely little delicate one here. Super fun, again super intricate. And unfortunately, some of them do break. Here we have a few more good ones. Aren't they just stunning? Look at the texture on these things. The camera will just never capture how beautiful these are, unfortunately. But yes, sometimes you do get broken ones. These came to me this way, but I'm trying to keep them nice and safe for the future. You know, it is delicate work. And then awesomely, cow bones weren't the only crochet product of cows, I guess. You would get milk plastic, aka casein. Erinoid was a UK manufacturer, very popular until the 1980s. But you would get milk proteins and mix them with an enzyme, and you would create plastic. You can mold this. I just thought that was crazy. You can make plastic from milk. So you would have cow bones and you would have cow milk, both making crochet hooks in the same market. That's not what these are. These are just imitations of bone hooks. You can tell because they bend way too easily. If I take another crochet hook, let's see. This one's kind of thin. If you try bend it, nothing happens. Bend this one. Proper bendy. Anyway, these are just what you would have on the market, is just real cheap imitations meant to look like bone. Cheap and ugly. That's why we saved it till last. The only bones left here are my phalanges, so please see yourself out now. Thank you.